You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning. If you're a small business owner, chances are you're aware of the United States Small Business Administration, also known as the SBA. For almost 7 decades, the SBA has been dedicated to small business owners and entrepreneurs. And today, we have a very special guest in our studio, the administrator of the SBA, Isabella Casillas Guzman. And to learn more about her role, the administrative's initiatives today, and how they're empowering small businesses in a world where digital transformation is the name of the game. Administrator Guzman, thank you so much for coming into our studio. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Great to be here at SBN.
Such an honor to have you here. And we're prepared with so many questions because so many small business owners want your update and your feedback on this. So thank you again for joining us. So as a member of the President Biden's cabinet and the head of an agency with $500 billion portfolio, that's amazing. I don't even know how you get up in the morning because I'm running a small business and sometimes I have difficult, but $500 billion is a pretty big portfolio. Can you share a little bit about your priorities and the president's priorities for the U.S. small businesses?
Yeah, well, the president talks about building the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, and it's really squarely focused on building the middle class and building small businesses.
Yeah.
We know that they're the backbone of our economy, but that means they create 2/3 of the net new jobs, and they produce 40% of our output, and they're 99.9% of all our businesses in this country.
Right.
And our job at the SBA is to help deliver that American dream of business ownership. And under the Biden-Harris administration, really focusing on making sure all great ideas have that chance to succeed. And we know that means that you got to have the capital to grow your business. And that's what the SBA is most well known for. And our portfolio shows that we've grown quite dramatically with COVID relief, but truly helping them get the funding to create jobs and grow their businesses, expand abroad, do federal contracting, participate in the great opportunities. But there's 2 sides of every equation in the business, and that's the revenue side as well. And so this administration has been focused on leveling the playing field, creating opportunities for our small businesses. And that's what the Invest in America agenda is about as well, whether that's growing manufacturing and supply chain. Small businesses are the majority of manufacturers. In fact, 70% of them are 20 employees and under.
Wow, really?
Yes,
gosh.
So it's really, they are critical for our manufacturing supply chain, which drives down prices, which is a good thing.
That's right.
And it's also, though, about building infrastructure and creating the clean energy economy of the future. And those are all small business opportunities.
Yeah. How's the SBA evolved and or changed since your first SBA role during the Biden administration?
Yeah, during Obama-Biden, the SBA was still vital. We've put out about almost $50 billion every year or more. And really that's in bonds and grants, powering investments in small businesses and loans and disaster assistance to communities impacted. So the SBA has always been very vital, but obviously after COVID and the huge relief that we were able to put out to save millions of businesses, our portfolio has grown dramatically. That $500 billion means businesses, still either, course correcting to finally recover from the pandemic or figure out how to grow and leverage opportunities. And so our responsibility to businesses just continues to grow. I think we're more front and center. More people know about the SBA because of the Paycheck Protection Program, because of COVID EIDL. And I think what's critical is making sure they ask, well, what else can SBA do for me?
Yeah, that's right.
And visit us to find out.
It probably did make so many small business owners much more aware of SBA and how they could help small business owners when that PPP program and EIDL program came out, right?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah, it really opened up their eyes. And I can't tell you, I have interviewed so many people that have sat right where you're sitting that said, I would not be in business today without that help.
And it's iconic brands. So it's about growth businesses. It's about mom and pop shops on Main Street. FedEx, Tesla, Apple received SBA funding. Our innovation grants went to start businesses like Qualcomm, 23andMe.
Wow.
And then our loans helped Chobani yogurt with their first factory, Jenny's ice cream.
You're making me hungry right now.
I know. Sweet Green. There's just some great iconic stories that said, if not for that SBA money that came in, I wouldn't be here today.
No question about it. How's your personal journey really affected your approach with the SBA?
Oh, it completely defines me. I think small business, growing up in a small business, tagging along with my dad to work every day, whenever I could, on weekends and after school, was really formative for me because I got to see him interacting with the whole community. And customer first is my philosophy, and because that's what my dad taught me. Everyone who walked in that door was important to our family and the business and our future. And that's how I view our 33 million small businesses and innovative startups in this country. So shifting the agency to truly be there, build bridges, connect, build trust, and support with products that meet businesses where they are.
Yeah, for sure. The Biden-Harris administration's Investing in America agenda is fueling generational investments in everything from infrastructure to clean energy. How's the SBA helping America's small businesses capitalize on these opportunities?
Well, we're so proud to have launched a new digital hub. So it's the Invest in America Small Business Hub. And it's a digital platform that helps businesses connect to what those opportunities are. Everyone's hearing about these historic public investments, which, by the way, are being matched by many private investments. Through the CHIPS and Science Act in manufacturing and innovation, or through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, through building everything from broadband to EV charging stations to, of course, roads, bridges, ports. Those contracts and opportunities are important for small businesses to be a part of. And it's also the most recent rollout across the nation of the Inflation Reduction Act and those consumer incentives, tax credits and rebates. If a consumer wants to change their HVAC system, well, there's a small business trade business that's going to go out and help them do that. And so all of this information is now at SBA.gov on our digital hub, so that businesses can learn about the opportunities, figure out how they can grow their revenues with these historic investments.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And everybody thinks right away SBA. I don't know if I need an SBA loan or not. And they think money, right? But the SBA is so much more than that in the way of resources for small business owners. The things that you just mentioned are incredible.
That's right. I mean, we're trying to strengthen and build resilience amongst our small businesses. So we incentivize and provide incredible programs to support the federal contracting base, as an example, getting them into sole source contracts with the federal government, or getting them bonded and ready to do business with the largest buyer in the world, which someone the other day called the Fortune 1. But as well, we try to incentivize where we know businesses can create good paying jobs and be resilient, and that's trade. We give grants to help you do trade shows abroad through your state economic agencies. So there's so much that SBA offers.
That's fantastic. So the Biden-Harris administration has made equity kind of a centerpiece of its policy approach. How is this reflected in the SBA's policies?
Well, I mean, if we think about an economy that was inherited at the start of the Biden administration, I mean, the economy was on the brink, but there's been some incredible recovery and growth, and one of those points is that there's been a small business boom with over 17 million new business applications filed, just across the country in every zip code. And that the president likes to say that each one of those applications is a sign of hope, because we know if an entrepreneur jumps in and starts the business and takes the risk, they do have optimism and hope in the future. But that boom has been driven by women and people of color who have faced barriers in the past to accessing capital and growing their businesses. And we want them to create as many jobs and produce as much output for us to be globally competitive into the future. And so equity has to be front and center for us to make sure all great ideas have that opportunity to be successful. That's why we've centered it and trying to take down barriers that really benefit all businesses. Because it's about simplifying, cutting red tape, adding technology, creating competition in our lending base. And that's important for all of our small businesses.
That's fantastic. It really is. The pandemic accelerated the digital transformation across industries. How's the SBA encouraging and supporting small businesses to adapt technology and e-commerce to stay competitive? Because that's such a big challenge for small businesses today, right? To keep up with the big guys out there and yet still be able to offer an e-commerce solution or to take their business in the digital world.
Yes, and that was one of the silver linings of the pandemic, because so many businesses had to get online or adopt social media to really reach out and market their businesses. And that now strengthens them today. But the digital adoption of technology is so important towards helping businesses compete and leveling the playing field. And I talked about global trade, but e-commerce also connects you to 95% of the world's consumers, which are outside the United States. And so there's great examples of businesses who during the pandemic set up their online website, and all of a sudden we're getting customers from Japan, Europe, you name it, and have one small retail boutique 5x'd her business revenues.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
great.
really a remarkable time for businesses, and we have a Small Business Digital Alliance where we share over 300 free tools and resources, everything from social media, e-commerce tools, operational efficiency tools for managing your workforce. And really with the advent of AI, this incredible technology that can further help small businesses level the playing field. It's time to continue to expand your knowledge there.
Yeah, no question about it. So far, what's been your proudest moment of achieving thus far at the SBA as the administrator?
Yeah, well, when President Biden first nominated me, for
that's a pretty big one right there.
That was a big one. And of course, that was a highlight. But he asked me to make sure that we could course correct and make sure that COVID relief programs got into the hands of the businesses it was intended to serve. And that's exactly what we did, and helped millions of businesses sustain as the pandemic was still, just rolling. And we wanted to, so I'm so proud of rolling out these incredible initiatives, from supporting restaurants to expanding COVID Idol to getting PPP out the door and forgiven, delivering on that promise of forgiveness. So that work was so vital towards seeing the economic recovery that we have today. But I'm also proud of the reforms because, as you mentioned, I'd been at the SBA before during Obama, Biden, and I had specific intentions of trying to open up capital markets for more small businesses. We'd seen a decline in small dollar lending, continued barriers. And so the transformations that we've made have been the largest and most significant in the past 4 decades of the SBA's history. And that's making a difference. We're getting more lenders in the platform. We've increased our lending in underserved markets, rural, veterans,
it used
people
to be
of color.
that you'd have to find a bank that dealt with the SBA and kind of focused on that. But then you guys open it up to so many other types of lending institutions out there that it really put a lot of money in the hands of small business owners, right?
I mean, more than half of small businesses don't get the funding or all of the funding that they need. So they're going online and they're searching. And so you can actually go to sba.gov/lendermatch. We have a technology tool to match you to our lenders.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we'll show all the information on the screen here. Let's switch gears a little bit, and I appreciate all the time you've given us today. Let's talk about the National Small Business Week kicked off this week in D.C. Can you tell us a little bit about the celebration and what it means for small business owners?
Yeah, this is our Super Bowl when we go out around the country and celebrate all those small business winners in every state. And we will announce a national winner across multiple categories as well as the National Small Business of the Year. And so this kicks off on Sunday in D.C., and we'll be traveling around the country. And there's great content that small businesses can plug into online, virtually, as well as in their communities, as we have a footprint around the country, so that you get the all the assistance that the SBA offers, not just the lending, but those revenue opportunities and knowledge networks.
For sure, it's so exciting. It really is, and it's a great time. I asked this economist recently from Bloomberg. I said, "Is this a good time to start a small business?" Because so many people hear the media out there and they hear high interest rates and maybe a little bit of inflation or what have you. And is this a good time? And he said, "Absolutely, this is a good time. This is maybe one of the best times." And then he rattled off all of these companies that we know today that started during some challenging times that are some of the biggest brands out there in the country, right? So it's a great time to start a small business, right?
It's a great time. I mean, during the Great Recession, Sweet Green and Chobani both started. I mentioned them earlier. So even in the examples I gave, there's examples of people jumping in.
and Walmart and so many others started during challenging times. Although these, from all the indications, these are some pretty good times out there right now, right?
That's right.
No question about it. Well, Isabella Casillas Guzman, Administrator of the Small Business Administration, thank you again so much for coming into our studios and spending some time with us. And I know that our viewers and subscribers will get a lot out of your visit with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.